Well, time to wrap up June the 26th, 2014, and we've had ourselves a pretty darn good day, all things considered. When we came in this morning on this contract, we wanted to sell the 50 area, and our second sell area was the 55 area plus or minus. We had a buy at 40 and a buy at 35.37. And the low's 36 and the high is just over 51. So we had a really, really good day. We liked the short side first. We thought it was the first trade that was up to retest support. Now, what we see right here is we're getting lower highs and lower lows. If it weren't for Monday's end of the month, end of the quarter, second quarter at that, 1/2 year, I would be much more aggressive on the sell side than we are right now. So we can sell failure to take out resistance, but we're not going to press the trade. So based on this one, lower high, lower low, this chart favors the seller. Looking at the F2 screen, is that confirmed? And you'll see that it's not, because we're dealing with a double distribution and a couple of P and a P starting an I period. Okay, the news is lacking tomorrow. We have Michigan sentiment. It's forecast at 81.7. That would be in contrast to the latest consumer confidence number. And you can see that this market, starting an I period when the T-note auction took off, and has been in a rally. And this morning when Rohit asked us if 1950 was a legitimate trading target because it was our second resistance point off of our number 2 buy level. We said, yeah, 50 was a legitimate target, but it probably wouldn't come until after lunch. So we have a new distribution higher. You can see how the market is being pulled to volume in this 50 area. The issue is, how do we trade tomorrow? If we close this thing high and strong today, we don't come back and weaken the close. And my guess is we're going to be looking once again to sell the 50 to 55 area. So based on a close right here, it's very, very aggressive. But it's a 50 to 50 sell failure to take out 50 to 52 for the overnight session. We'll adjust this in the morning and definitely want to get short in the 55 area. On the buy side, the first buy that'll come up will be 45 plus or minus. And then our 40 to 42 area will be buy 2. Not much news to move the market tomorrow, like we said. Michigan sentiment, which usually is a barometer for the stock market, but the last couple of times that number's been a disappointment. So that's it for the E-mini. Today on the note, we had to adjust our buy area up a couple of times, but we did. And we like the buy side coming in today strictly because it was the 7-year auction. We were hoping that the news would be worse than forecast so we could buy on the cheap. But when you take a look at this screen, you'll see that it's a higher low and a higher high. And it's a pretty typical auction. 3 days of auctions, all with higher highs and higher lows. But this particular screen says find a place to buy it. Now, every day we do our analysis and homework the same way. This is our capital flow screen, and this is where the big money has to play because of the size of their orders. It takes a couple of 3 days to build positions, and they're perfectly happy and willing to do that. And you can see up here where they were sellers before and they were sellers again. And you can see down here where they were buyers before and they were buyers again. So these people play in fairly predictable ways. So we've got a higher low and a higher high, and that in and of itself favors the buy side of the market. Looking at the F2 screen, fairly strong P, but the dynamics post an auction usually means that we close at or above the average auction price. And my guess is that come tomorrow we'll close this market above 124.25.26. And that's the area where we'd like to get long. We'd like to get long at that level or better. So we have ourselves a fairly strong P. The first trade is going to be to sell failure to take out 4 to 8. I don't think we can get above this overnight unless the E-mini melts down this afternoon. Second sell will be 11 to 15. I don't even see that as a possibility right now. On the buy side, the last rotate down was 30.5, then 28 right here. So our first little band of support is going to be in that area, so we'll make 25 to 29 buy 1. If the mini melts down, we're going to be trying to buy 29s to 01s, and then 17 to 21 for buy 2. I think we got a better chance of taking this market a little lower overnight than we do of taking it higher. Looking quickly at the bond, which is my favorite contract for a lot of reasons that we talk about on a regular basis. The knob spread got over 12 today. It's been just every time we have an auction, this is actually one where you could have made pretty close to a point on this play. $1,000 a position over the course of from Monday of this week over 4 days. That's pretty good trading. Don't forget it. Okay, the high is just above 8, so we want to sell failure not to get through 8 to 12. If we get a little selling in the knob spread, last rotate down was 30. We're at 03 right now, so let's go for 25 to 29, maybe a little weakening of the knob spread as people take profits. The other thing that could be holding this market up is just weak economic news, and it's pretty hard. I mean, nobody's arguing the weak economic news. They're just saying it doesn't count. We just had a soft first quarter, and maybe the first couple of months of the second quarter are soft, but the economy is going to come roaring back in the third and fourth quarter. Set. Apologize for the interruption. I had to sign off on the work that was done, so the workmen are gone, so we don't have to worry about that noise. So anyway, I think it's a good contract, and I think it's one that warrants your attention. If you would like a little more consistency on following the news. Okay, looking at gold. I don't think a lot's changed. I think we're in a trading range right now where we've got a buyer below 1310, and we got a seller into 25. That's about a 15-handle range. And I think there's enough uncertainty out there. Economic weakness, government collapse, bank collapse, surprise financials, war in the Middle East, widening, and something perhaps in the Ukraine and Russia. That there's enough uncertainty that it'll hold the sellers up. But you can see right here that there's pretty good buying below 10, and we really have not been able to hold the market above 23, and we're kind of right in the middle. So first resistance is going to be at 20 plus or minus, and then 25 plus or minus for sell 2. And on the buy side, we're going to leave our 10 to 12 in like we had it today, this morning, after we adjusted it up after the news, and then we're going to make 5 to 7 for buy 2. So I don't look for a lot out of gold overnight, but gold and crude oil subject to one headline, and it can make an explosive difference in the prices, as we all know. Okay, crude oil. Crude oil says that the flow of crude oil in the world is uninterrupted and will stay that way. And again, it's all subject to change. And the reason that you could probably say this with some confidence that it will remain true is that dictators, thugs taking over a country, people taking over a country, if it's a one-trick pony, and in Iraq it's strictly crude oil, they need cash flow too. So we got a seller into 107, and we got a buyer into 105, where we were at the end of last week, and here we sit. Definitely have a B. Market is pointed lower, but again, I don't think anybody's really going to press it to the downside. So we're going to buy 105, 105 and a quarter, and then 450, 475. I don't like selling into the hole, but resistance is at 105, 80 to 106. It is an aggressive sell in the overnight session. If we can't really take out 106, I think it's a good short to test the low at 105, and then 6 1/4, 650. And last but not least, our favorite currency, the euro. And you do have to feel sorry for Mario. Everything he tries to do doesn't work in talking the market down. Sometimes he can hold it down for a day or two, but it snaps right back in his face. And I put an interesting article into the room a couple of days ago, I believe, one day ago anyway, where it said that with all the new restrictions on banks and all the new capital requirements and all the extra scrutiny they're getting from regulators, capital is staying pretty close to home. Normally, with a lower interest rate, people would sell euros and buy whatever other currency it is they're going to work the spread on. That really hasn't happened of late in the magnitude that one would anticipate. So there's something different out there. So we got a seller at 50, and we got a buyer definitely at 75 down in here. And we're at 12, so we'll make 20, 30, sell 1, 40, 50, sell 2. On the buy side, we're at 12, so we'll make we'll make 85 to 95, buy 1, and our buy 2 will be 50 to 60 if it happens to break. Now, the impetus and the direction for this contract comes out of London. That's the dog. And if London decides to be a seller or a buyer, that's how the market is moved. So that's all I've got for June the 26th. I will see you bright and early in the morning, 6:45 Central. And in the meantime, good trading.